Thank you so much for watching. The great Megyn Kelly is here, and there's plenty to talk about with her from the United States, including a scenario where there's about to be, tomorrow in the US, and you'll see this over a couple of days, a big series of hearings into the Capitol riots after the 2020 election and the certification of all of that on January the 6th, 2021. Now, Democrats are desperate to turn this into a new version of 9/11. Republicans say it doesn't meet that standard, but prime time hearings are about to take place, and in part, the Democrats have got a TV producer to help make them more TV friendly, which means what about a political process?
I mean, I really think this is you will eat your vegetables. You're going to eat them, whether you want to eat them or not. We're going to put some butter on them and some salt on them, and you will eat them, American people. They've already rejected this. They don't want that vegetable. They don't find it all that fulfilling. But the Democrats can't let it go. So they are determined to shove it down the throats of the American people, whether they want it or not. And they've decided to sex it up with this guy, James Goldston, who used to run ABC News. He's the guy who turned their morning program from a more substantive morning program into a show that's all about airplane crashes, bad weather, and celebrities. And that did drive ratings, but I think you're going to get the same treatment of January 6th. How do you make it sexy? How do you make it sell? On CNN, they were just talking about they should do exciting cliffhanger teases to keep people tuned in. What is this? Is this a news organization talking about this? Is this guy, Goldston, a newsman or not? Because this isn't exactly what we do. Sex up the news and so that you can get more people to tune in. January 6th was not a good day for America, and it was an embarrassment, and the people who broke the law ought to be held accountable, and it's happening. We don't need to keep going over it. Where's the primetime hearing on all of the cops who were hurt, 2,000 of them, and the lives lost during the Black Lives Matter riots of 2020? I don't remember those primetime hearings. Every single network is going to take it live, except for Fox News Channel. They decided to run it on Fox Business Network, which is its sister, which doesn't have the same ratings. It's being forced on us. It's January 6th theater. And by the way, it's gorgeous here right now in the States. The summer has sprung. Kids are out of school. No one's going to watch this.
Now, Megyn, I can't believe that this week we had a global conversation about the behaviour of a 4-year-old, Prince Louis at the Jubilee.
Yeah. Oh, he was amazing and completely stole the show. And anybody complaining about Prince Louis's behavior or Duchess Kate, whatever, her response isn't apparent. We've all had our child behave that way. I thought she was actually remarkably restrained. You know, it's like the old, the eyes of the world are on you, so there's only so much you can be like, stop it right now. Like a real parent would sort of escalate after a few, like, argh! But she kept her composure. She handled it beautifully. But there's always got to be some naysayers out there who think they know better because, she's a princess and she lives in a castle, so screw her.
Exactly. I mean, it's ridiculous. Even the super nanny, Jo Frost, from, 15 years ago, she's apparently staging an intervention, whatever that means.
She is. She was Team Kate for what it's worth. But it's like, we've run out of things to talk about. This is why we're having January 6th theater, too. It's like we've run out of real things to talk about. And so now we've got to criticize Princess Kate for the way she stared at Louis. Or the questions are, why didn't she bring something for him to play with? This is a very long event. Every mother knows to bring snacks. As though it would have been better if he'd been sitting there shoving, cracker goldfish down his throat and spitting it out halfway like any kid his age would do. I think it's just a matter of envy.
Now, we all know the Queen is awesome, but she showed a particular type of genius, I think, last weekend, basically sidelining Harry and Meghan, and she did so magnificently. What do you think?
Yeah, she did. She gave him the stiff arm, and they could not get past the stiff arm of the Queen. I mean, the attempt to, reportedly have their personal photographer take a photo of her meeting their daughter, Lilibet, for the first time. It's just so classless, If you want a picture of that moment as a person, I can understand that. You do what every other human on Earth does, which is you take out your iPhone, and then you, I guess in this case, would promise the Queen you would never leak that to anybody. You just want it for posterity, for the little girl's sake. But no, they travel with their personal photographer, and they wanted that personal photographer to take the photos. And to her credit, the Queen reportedly was like, no. And then they wanted to be on the balcony, and the Queen said, no. no. And then they went all out to lunch without Harry and Meghan, who went back to Frogmore Cottage, and they weren't involved in sort of the cool kids crowd because they quit that crowd. They quit. They want to come back for all the fun stuff, but they didn't want to do any of the work, and so rightfully they were told no. And that's only one of the many reasons why they were booed loudly when they left the church ceremony that day. I think we were all feeling it at that point.
Yeah, ran out of time with her to show you the bit that we had a chance to talk about with Matthew McConaughey and guns. Her full comments will be up online by the end of tonight.